So just quickly before we begin, a safe harbor. As you know, Salesforce is a publicly traded company, so please make your buying decisions based on what's currently available in the marketplace. There'll be more photo ops later, I promise. In my role as a product marketer on the AppExchange, I get to talk to customers all the time, and I get to talk to customers like these amazing customers here. And through those conversations, I started to hear some trends coming to the fore. And so we put together this video. I think it'll resonate particularly well with admins.
I spent years suffering day after day, and I had no idea that it was what was slowing me down.
I didn't know I was suffering from ALT, but apparently it was pretty obvious.
For me, it started out small, but then I guess it got a little out of hand.
I spent all day focusing so much on closing the deal. I never stopped to think how something like ALT might be hurting me, and maybe other people around me.
I'd say mine started around 2006.
ALT affected everything I touched.
I think if I can cut back on my ALT, I will be a totally new person. And more importantly, I'll have space in my life for things that really matter.
The AppExchange is the world's leading business app marketplace. It's an ecosystem of proven business apps extending Salesforce into every department and industry. Users can find, review, install, and customize apps in minutes. Upgrades are automatic, and each user gets a single secure cloud identity.
In our app marketplace, you'll find modern applications that can help you with nearly every function in your daily life. It's easy to use, it's fast, affordable, and it's curing ALT.
Thanks to the AppExchange, I'm back on the road again, and I feel like a regular Jack Kerouac.
Thanks to the AppExchange, I've washed away my worries and feel light on my feet.
We know AppExchange works. If we can help reduce ALT, imagine the possibilities.
And it comes from clouds.
So just something fun to get us started on this Thursday afternoon. And I know that hopefully none of that hit a little too close to home for you, because we hear all the time from not only our customers, but also from our colleagues about all of the funny things that people are doing in the office. In fact, one of our colleagues even confessed to having hired a summer intern whose only job it was to dedupe an org, and they spent the entire summer just doing that. So not exactly a dream job. So that's why the AppExchange is here to help. The AppExchange is the #1 business app marketplace. We have an ecosystem of over 2,800 apps, and these are apps that are customized for Salesforce, so they plug directly into your Salesforce instance. They use your data. They're trusted and secured, and they're peer-reviewed. So there's been over 50,000 peer reviews on the AppExchange. So when you're looking for a new app, starting with the peer reviews and learning how your peers are using it and what's working is a great place to start. The AppExchange also, over 40% of the apps on the AppExchange are free. So it doesn't cost a lot to get started, and we'll talk a lot about both paid and free apps here today. So when we think about the AppExchange ecosystem, it really started with sales and service, and that was about extending your core CRM. But where the AppExchange really started to hit its stride and take on new meaning is when we moved into other departments as well. So we have apps for HR like Financial Force and Talent, or like Talent Objects and Job Science. We have apps for finance like Financial Force. We have apps that extend marketing like Visible, and these are all apps that can help you take the power of Salesforce and bring that to all the different departments in your company. So it's really about creating this whole app ecosystem in your company. And then we have apps for every industry. So these are the industries that we had sessions for here at Dreamforce, specifically for the AppExchange. But there are over 11 industries that are curated on the AppExchange. But if you search for your industry, for example, if there's anyone here in higher ed, If you just search higher ed, you'll also find a collection that's specific to higher ed. So really any industry you can imagine, there's usually an app. And the way that search works on the AppExchange is that it's keyword search. So as long as the company has put your industry name in their listing, it will come up if you search for that. So we have apps for spas, we have apps for beverage distributors, for museums and galleries, really anything, not just the things you would see at a normal tech conference, but really anything you can imagine. And then our must-have apps for admins. So we're going to dive really deep into quite a few apps today. But this is to give you the high level. There's a lot of data management apps, reports and dashboards. You never have to build a report and dashboard from scratch. You can start on the AppExchange. Admin productivity and a lot of change management apps as well. I'll just call out one here. Almond is a free app that was built by one of our Salesforce colleagues, and it's a Salesforce Labs app, so that means that it's a free unmanaged package on the AppExchange. Anyone can install it, and then you can get to the underlying code, and you can actually tinker with it and customize it for your team. And so that's a learning management app. It's also Salesforce1 Mobile ready, so you can get it right on your mobile phone. And speaking of being mobile ready, so 2 years ago, we introduced the Salesforce1 Mobile app, and that was really about bringing the power of the platform to your mobile phone. And a lot of our data from our partners work directly out of the box, but we have over 300 partners who have custom-built Salesforce1 Mobile-ready apps. So these are apps that will plug directly into your Salesforce1 Mobile app. So when you pull up your Salesforce1 Mobile app, you'll actually see them in the left nav of your phone, and you'll be able to get all of the power of those apps all in your one Salesforce1 Mobile app. And when you go to the AppExchange, if you're looking for those, it just has that flag, the Salesforce1 Mobile flag, at the top of the app. So that's how you know that it's Salesforce1 Mobile. And then you've probably heard us talk a lot about Lightning over the last few days. And so we have recently introduced the Lightning Exchange on the AppExchange. And that is where the AppExchange components live. So these are components that you can use in your app builder, but that you can also use in the new Lightning experience to customize your pages. And these apps live on the AppExchange. So when you go to the AppExchange at the top nav, it says apps, and now it says components. And that's where you can find all of these Lightning components. There's 50 components right now. Many of them are built by Salesforce employees, so those are Salesforce Labs components. But a lot of our partners have built components as well, and they're going to continue to grow out that full ecosystem. So if you're interested in getting started with the app builder or learning more about components, we have a lot of information in the App Cloud in the product showcase area. We have workshops where you can learn how to build an app using components, and we actually have an 80-foot larger-than-life app builder where you can drag and drop components and build your first app like Vanna White. So now I am going to introduce our fabulous panel. We have had the opportunity to now do this panel twice. And this is a really strong group of admins, and they're the admins that I call when I'm completely lost and I don't know where to start. They have been using the AppExchange since the beginning and have just the best advice. So I think we start with Amber. Okay.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me? Ooh, I'm mic'd. Thank you.
Here's your clicker.
Hi, everybody. Hi. It's 4 o'clock on Thursday of Dreamforce. Are you gala ready? Okay, who's gala ready?
Me.
Wow, nobody's gala ready. All right, okay. So I'm Amber Boaz. I'm a project manager with Code Science, and these are my favorite apps. I'm going to be really effusive because I totally am in love with these. There we go. So TaskRay. TaskRay is made by Bracket Labs. It's a paid app. It is a project management application. All of the objects are native to Salesforce, so it lives entirely in your Salesforce org. But you'll notice that that user interface doesn't look very Salesforcey, or at least not the pre-Lightning Salesforciness. It's very drag and drop, and what happens is that the tasks, TaskRay, for your projects, you move them from column to column. So they start on the left as kind of this, amorphous, maybe, we'll do this someday, into a prioritized column, into an in-progress column, into a completed column. You get to pick the columns. You can rename them. You can call them all Fred if you want, if that's how your company rolls. I don't know. I'm not judging. So you can create as many columns as you need. You can archive projects when you're done. The color coding, you'll notice on the left, each one has kind of a color-coded bar. So each project is a color, and so you can group things that way. I have added custom, this screenshot comes from my dev org, and I've added custom fields. So I use this for Agile, so there's story points associated, and those are the kind of the blue things. I can point them to you on a larger on a larger screenshot. You assign people to a task by dragging their chatter image from the bottom right up onto the task. None of this, edit, lookup, new window, blah crap. You just drag and drop. It's super, super useful. So and this is the task, what do they call it? I think they call it I don't remember there's 3 ways to look at your tasks. You can look at them in deadline view, you can look at them in a kind of a modified Gantt view, and then you can look at them in this view.
I think it's Kanban.
Kanban, thank you. Yes, thank you. Kanban. So really great. Each task has its own chatter feed. You can attach things, same kind of stuff you can do with chatter. There's the concept of checklists within a task. We use those for acceptance criteria, for anybody familiar with Agile. It's a really great way to manage projects. What's super useful about it is because, again, it's all native, you can report on it just like you report on any other object in Salesforce. When we did this session yesterday, a gentleman came up and asked me about time tracking. He said, can you do time tracking with TaskRay? And I said, well, sure, because it's native, you would just add a time object to your project or your task and do it that way. There was actually a blog post. TaskRay did a blog post about that last week. So super extendable, fantastic, love it, love it. The best part about this is how visual it is, right? You run your meetings from this. Who's working on what? When is it due? Is it overdue? Who's stuck where, et cetera. Super useful for that kind of thing. And managers love it because it's easy to report on. So that's TaskRay, love it. Okay, field trip. This one is a little more nerdy. This one is truly for admins. You're never going to let your users see this because it's not something that they would care about. What it does is it runs a query. You point it at one of your objects and you say, tell me what percentage of the fields are filled in on this object for each of the fields, right? So when that sales ops manager asked you for those 16 checkboxes last quarter and you know full well nobody's using those 16 checkboxes, but you don't have any proof, field trip lets you prove it. Nobody's checked any of those boxes. I'm taking them off the page layout. Go get yourself another job, right? So what it lets you do is see which fields are being used, which is great for data cleanliness, and great for cleaning up your page layouts. Nobody likes a page layout with 600 fields. No one's going to fill it out. It's not going to happen, right? So this lets you figure out which fields are in use and that low-hanging fruit. Angsty users or sad users, because that's what angst means. Sorry, brain fart. So this one's free. This is free on the AppExchange. So everyone should have this. Everyone should go back to your hotel before you change for the gala and install this in your org and start running some queries. Okay? It's magical. Totally cool. All right. Sorry, folks. Form assembly.
Do you want water?
Yeah, that'd be great. So form assembly is a great way to collect data from either your users or outside of your org. Super powerful web forms. You can send data to any Salesforce object, standard or custom. It's super fast data entry, and you can create more than one record with a form. So it's really great. The nonprofit space uses this all the time for applications, right? We want to know your application, then we're going to create a couple of related records. We want references, so each reference is now a contact, and we want a letter of recommendation for each reference, so you upload each of those as a attachment, that kind of thing. So you can do all of this with form assembly. I think my favorite thing about it, though, and this is just because I'm a data quality nerd, and you're going to hear lots more about data quality, but what's super fantastic about it is you can have it look up to existing records. So for example, I'm going to collect leads with form assembly because I need something more sophisticated than just name and email address, let's pretend. Rather than have it create a lead every time somebody enters information, I want to match on email address and only create a lead if there isn't already a lead with that email address in the system. Okay? That's a very simple example, but you can do some sophisticated stuff. If name and phone number match, then do something. It's a really great tool for data entry into Salesforce. All right, and last but not least for me is the CRM dashboards. All right, so you're going to hear a lot about dashboard packs, and you're going to hear a lot of opinions about dashboard packs and which ones are best. There's a little bit of a dashboard pack smackdown. This is a Salesforce Labs app. You can tell because of the little blue beaker. So all the Salesforce Labs apps are free and unmanaged, meaning you can modify them to your taste once you've included them in your org. And so this one is one of those. Sorry. So what this app does is put in, I don't know how many reports, I don't know how many dashboards, I didn't count. You will get lots of stats about that, of how many reports and dashboards these packs include. But what's really nice about this is this tells you all about the data that's in your org. You can install it right now. It sits on top of your existing CRM data. This doesn't cover any custom objects, but it does cover activities, leads, opportunities, accounts, contacts, cases, the standard stuff, right? The stuff you hopefully are using all of. what's the fact that it's free and the fact that when you put it in place, all of the reports and all of the dashboards are instantly available. They're running against your live data. You guys have created reports and dashboards, right? That's not like super fun. And it takes time, right? And it takes tweaking. This is just done for you. What's really great too is for orgs that are newer, especially if they're new to you, right? The org may exist forever, but you just are logging in for the first time. This is a really great way to kind of see kind of industry standard KPIs, right? What are the lead conversion rates? What does the pipeline look like? This is stuff that everybody's talking about, right? This is not new fancy stuff. These are not KPIs that somebody pulled out of the air. So having these in place, ready to go, and just displayed in your org, super, super powerful. And with that, those are my 5. So I'm going to pass this off to Michelle, who has lots of opinions about dashboards.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Amber. Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Seifer. I am a Senior Systems Administrator at SunGard, and I'm based in Chicago. And I just want to thank you guys all for coming today. As we know, it's the admin keynote, so we really appreciate it. Next time, I think we're going to ask Salesforce to provide us beer and wine at this session if they're going to make us go up against the admin and right before the gala. So everyone write that in your survey as a suggestion. No, I'm kidding. And one thing I'm going to challenge you guys to before you leave is to make friends with your neighbor in this room and ask them their favorite app. Because I'm sure you'll learn a lot more even just from your neighbor and asking about their apps. So the first one that I'm going to talk about today is Distribution Engine. It's a round-robin lead assignment, routing, and management. And I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that we actually did not use the AppExchange, and we went and built custom code to route leads and opportunities to our sales reps globally. And we found that as we were growing and adding on more reps globally, we were not seamlessly scaling. We were doing it too slow because we'd have to go to our developer. It would take a couple weeks to change the code, come back, have it go through the change management process, and this whole entire time the reps are sitting there not getting their leads and opportunities. And we're like, okay, we need a better process for this. And that's when we looked at the AppExchange and found Distribution Engine, and it's by far one of my favorite. And the reason why it's one of my favorite is because it's so easy to use that the sales ops and sales managers can use it, and I don't have to do anything. I just set it up and then give them the license, and it's so easy that they can run with it. We use it right now for leads and opportunities, and we do it globally. So we have some reps that have higher quotas than others, and it's able to do weighted load balance. And it can also, so your more higher opportunities will go to those reps that have the higher quotas. It's nice also because anytime a rep would be out of rotation, the managers would come to me and say, hey, Michelle, Bob is going to be out for 10 days. Can you take him out of rotation and add him back in? Well, in the old system, what I was doing is I was having to put a reminder on my calendar to check him, take him out, 10 days later, checking back in, and it was not a good process at all. With Distribution Engine, they have a whole entire section which is out of rotation, and you, as the sales ops or the sales manager, they go in, they create the new record, they select Bob, they can put all day that they're out of rotation, or as the flexibility that they can do for hours. So if he's only going to be out for half of a day one day, attending a conference or something, the manager is able to go and create that record, and it automatically will take him out and put him back in for the time frame that you select. So love Distribution Engine. And it also works with all of your assignment queues and workflow rules that you already have built in Salesforce, which is nice. And it does do really robust criteria as well. So you can do advanced criteria where you can add in formulas and stuff if you want it to trigger when a certain field is populated on the lead if you're doing lead scoring. So love this app. I think we needed a contest of how many times we each say love with our apps. So, oops. My next app is Calendar Anything. This is the #1 customizable calendar app on the AppExchange. And no, they're not paying me to say that. So this is you can create customizable calendars from any standard or custom object. The use case that we needed this for, actually one of our teams came, we have an innovation showcase in New York and in California, and they were scheduling times for those to have merchants come in and see our products at those innovation showcases, and they needed a way to keep track of which innovation showcase was going when, what hours, what merchants, and so they came to us and we found this app on the AppExchange for a calendar, and as we were putting it in and allowing that team to run with it, we decided that as admins, we're like, wow, we love this app, so we started using it to map out Salesforce releases. when, they're going to be upgrading a new sandbox, when's the next release coming out. We started using it for our project management, like when are our projects coming down the line and when are we going to refresh our sandboxes. And it's nice because when we're on those calls as a team, we're all looking at the same calendar. You can edit and click right in the records and save right in the calendar and change the dates if you need to. So if we realize that we have too many projects coming, or if we're going to be refreshing a sandbox that same week, we can update the calendar right there on the call. It's all color coding, which is nice too, because you can be looking at several different calendars. So we'll have the Salesforce management one up there. We'll have the sandbox refresh up there at the same time and can tell by the different calendars. Also, all the hovers are customizable and the filters on there, which is nice. And as users, they can change the way they want to look at the calendar as well. So if, different people like looking at their calendar a week, a day at a time, you can have the users all change that. It also, you can save that and export it out to iCalendar. So if you have Outlook or any of that, and Calendar Anything works on Salesforce Mobile, Salesforce1. We use this to monitor our PTO as well. So then I am the chatter queen. Every time I see the word chatter, I think my little sparkle in an eye lights up for me. And I love reports and dashboards too. I know, I'm a nerd like that. It just makes me happy. So one of my favorite free apps is Chatter Adoption Dashboards. And when I first saw this, I got really excited because it was Chatter. But then my mind was blown when I saw that I got 8 dashboards and over 130 reports. And I just remember that it was 8 because I could not believe that in a matter of 5 minutes, I had 8 dashboards and over 130 reports created. I mean, can you imagine how long that would take you guys to build 8 dashboards? Weeks, a couple weeks or so. And this was all done in 5 minutes. And so I felt like a hero to my management team when I said, look, here's how we can monitor Chatter. Here's our 8 dashboards and 130 reports. And I also have a life and went out to dinner last night. So you have the ability to report on additional user fields. You can do by region, country, department. It helped monitor the trend for us. So we saw which teams were actually using Chatter more successfully than others, and we were able to go to those teams and get the best practice, best tips. How were they getting adoption? Take it to the other teams to kind of help improve them. It's also nice because there's a whole entire dashboard on files. So what are people out there creating? What kind of content? What content is trending? What are some of the most popular ones that are being downloaded? What other content's not being used? There's a management dashboard that helps you if you guys have Chatter questions and answers turned on. It'll show you all the answers all the questions that are unanswered. It also helps you monitor your groups, what's kind of the usage and the trending on your groups, and there's a whole dashboard on topics as well. So this was a free one that I love, and it has the little Salesforce lab, so it's home built. And when you go to download that too, there's a really great PowerPoint that walks you through all 8 dashboards and shows you the metrics and the deliverables that you're getting out of the 8 dashboards. So keeping with the dashboard and reporting theme, my next one is the Salesforce adoption dashboards. So Amber showed you guys just the Salesforce dashboards that shows you the KPI metrics for the certain standard objects. The Salesforce adoption dashboards is how are your users using those standard objects? How many opportunities are created this month versus last month? How many opportunities are being created this quarter versus last quarter? So you can kind of see the trends. Is productivity going up? Are you seeing more records being created, less, and on which of the standard objects? So I believe this is 3 dashboards, and then 42 reports. One of the things that I really liked about this, it also tracks your users that are logging in. So you can have the user login wall of shame or the user login wall of fame if you want to promote good behavior. We use this for our sales managements. We actually had this dashboard being sent to them weekly, and so they had in their inbox, they could kind of see who was doing the best, which team had the most logins, successful logins, and those sales managers are competitive, so they did not want to see their team being on the login wall of shame. So that was all I was going to talk about today, so I'll hand it over.
All right, my name's Lena Hofer. I'm the Sales Systems Manager at Admentum. And I kind of love going last because as they're going through all of their sessions or all of their apps that they love, I'm like, I have that app, I have that app, I have that app. So we've all kind of fallen in love with the same apps. And unlike Michelle, though, I don't tell them that I have a life. I'm like, yeah, stayed up all night, but I got your dashboards done. Oh, I'm going backwards. So one of the things that I love about the AppExchange and these tools that we're going to talk about now is that they do save us time as admins. If you're a solo admin or if you're on a team, I'm sure that you're busy. You're so busy. You've got things coming at you from all ends, and getting stuff done in a timely manner is sometimes just almost impossible. So the tools that I'm going to talk about are all about saving you time as admins. And this tool right here, I think we've got a little fan club going for this tool. Demand tools. Literally, I cannot do my job without it. It is in my negotiation when I go to interview for a new job. I ask if they have demand tools. If they don't, I ask if they're willing to purchase it. And if they're not, I say, thank you, I'm going to the next employer, because I cannot do my job without it. It is a data quality power tool set. It will dedupe your existing duplicates that you have in your database. So there's tools out there that will block dupes from being created, but this one actually, you can use it to go in and dedupe what's already there, what's already messed up. You can also do things like realigning territories in just a few minutes by, they've got something they call mass effect and something they call mass impact. Mass effect, if you like working in a spreadsheet, you can export a report out of Salesforce, including the IDs, make the changes on the fields that you want to change, and upload that spreadsheet, whip it into demand tools, and in minutes your data is updated. Or if you use mass impact, you can just write a little code and say, I want all states that say Minnesota changed to MN in the database. Push a button, done. It saves me sometimes days worth of work. And it's a really awesome tool. I can't say enough about it. And I know that others that use it just love it as well. And they're always adding great new functionality. They also have great support and great training. When you purchase it, you are also purchasing carte blanche to all of their training, and they have live webinars and such. This is a paid app, but it is worth every single dime. Milestones PM. So I saw Amber doing TaskRay, and I was like, I love that. I want that. But it costs money, and I don't have any money. So I have Milestones PM, which is a free app built by Salesforce Labs, and it's a little more waterfall versus agile. It has the projects, milestones, and tasks that come with it. It has a lot of pre-made dashboards and pre-made reports that come with it. But what it does for me and my team is we work on anywhere from about 18 to 25 projects at a time. And so it helps us to prioritize. We can see at a glance on our dashboards which projects are open, how far along we are on each project, if there's tasks that are blocked, all of those kinds of things. And it's all built on native Salesforce functionality. So you've got it right there at your fingertips. Can see, I took the Gantt chart off. You can see there's a little bit of a Gantt chart here. I took it off for my team that wasn't really helpful, but I added in some other things that were helpful. So that's what I like also about this free app off of the AppExchange is it's an unmanaged package, so I can download it and go, you know what, don't like that, don't like that, don't like that, like this, like this, like this, add something else, and all of a sudden I've got this really, really cool, effective project management tool that took me maybe a couple hours to customize into my org, whereas if I'd started from scratch, I'm sure it would have taken me a couple weeks to build. So, configuration workbooks. So how many people just love documenting their Salesforce org? No takers on that one, huh? This is an awesome, awesome tool. I just found out about this one about 3 months ago. A gal I hired actually to be on my team came in and said, oh, I was documenting, I was doing an operation audit where I'm auditing everything in our system. And we were doing a little bit of a painful thing with it. And she said, you know what, there's a tool out there called Configuration Workbook. So even though I've been using the AppExchange since the first day for 10 years, I still didn't know about this. So nice to learn from each other. And she brought this into the org, and it is with one click of a button, you download on each object a workbook that shows all the profiles that have access to it, all the page layouts that it's on, all the validation rules that are associated with it, all the workflow that's associated with it, and all the fields and what type they are, and if there happens to be a pick list, all the pick list values for each one. What it doesn't do is it doesn't give you the percentage of population on the fields. So what we're doing now is I love, love, love Field Trip too. So we're using a combination of the two. We download this configuration workbook and then we match it up with Field Trip to see what percentage are done. And I've been removing fields after fields after fields because I inherited an org that was a very mature org, had been around since 2007, and I don't think anybody had deleted a field since then either. So this was very helpful, and I've even actually been able to delete entire objects by running this and seeing this just simply isn't being used. This one is both a free app and a paid app. There's a free version that you can do up to 5 of your objects. You can run a configuration workbook on up to 5 of your objects. Past that, it is a paid app. And I'm not really sure what the price is on it. I don't know, but I think you're going to provide links, right, for all of these. So you can go ahead and see what the price is on it. And then this one more quick question for you guys. Who loves the role hierarchy setup in Salesforce? I am not getting any hands raised at all on my questions. Yeah, I don't love it either. It's very cumbersome. It's very hard to work with. Draggin Role is a free app on the AppExchange that actually allows you to, it takes your role hierarchy that you have already built and puts it on this Visualforce page and allows you to drag those around. So if all of a sudden your reporting structure has changed and now somebody that's down at the bottom is reporting to somebody that's up at the top, you can just pull that little, the name of it actually, hover on the name, pull it up underneath there, and it automatically changes that reporting grouping. And if somebody, you can expand it and see who the users are that are in that role. And if Amber's in my org as a sales user and all of a sudden she got promoted to sales management, yes, she did. I can just pull her up into the sales management role, and it updates her profile, or her user record for me, and puts her into that role. So just a super, super easy way to update a lot of users at once or just one user by dragging it. And it's just more visually appealing. I don't even go to the role setup in setup at all. So those were my apps that I love.
Thank you. All right, so here is your photo op. So these are all of the apps that we talked about today, but also if you go to this bit.ly, so it's capital DF15 and then lowercase admin apps, that will take you to a collection on the AppExchange, and all of these apps are there. So then you can click on all of their listings and learn more about every single app that we talked about today. So now we are going to open it up to Q&A, and I will take the mic. Who wants to kick us off?
Hi. So I'm really new to Salesforce, so apologies if this is a really basic question, but I've noticed that our team is using kind of like a chatter group for support requests, essentially. And we have this long list of answered or unanswered requests, and I'm finding it really hard to keep track of which ones have been completed and which ones haven't. Do you guys have any tips on how we could change that, either using an app or not, because it's a nightmare.
We need a second mic for the panel.
I don't know if can you guys hear me okay? I don't need an app. I need an app. I don't need a mic. No, I wish you had been in my session at 1:30 today called How to Be a Superhero Admin.
Sorry.
So it's going to be on YouTube.
Oh, there you go.
All of them are recorded, so I highly encourage you to look at that, because we did a whole demonstration about just that thing. And what we recommend, one of two things. One was to go on the case object. Even if you're using cases for support, you can go ahead and do a record type for like what we call systems help desk tickets. We did a record type. We have the customer support cases are customer facing. This one's not because of the different record type. And we built it out, and we have everybody log a ticket when they have a Salesforce request. That way we've got dashboards. And we actually took the dashboards that came with Milestones PM and added on those case objects. So that's our kind of our working board that we work off of. So you can do it one of two ways. You can take the case object and do record type, or you can build a simple custom object and have that. Yeah.
It's great that you're using Chatter. I love that. But we also use the cases to manage ours, and we chatter on the cases if we have any questions or going back and forth. And we enabled email to case for our internal users as a quicker way.
Thank you.
And don't apologize about any question. That was great.
Other questions?
So you mentioned the Calendar Anything app, customizable calendars that can be color-coded. So we are trying to figure out for our org how we can combine, for instance, our marketing initiative calendar, PTO calendar, several other things. And right now, it kind of all lives in a shared drive on separate documents, which is the face that I make. So Calendar Anything, do you think that would be a good solution for kind of bringing all that data together? It can all be viewed in one spot. It can kind of like the Google calendars where you can see everything. It's color. So marketing can be one color.
Right.
PTO another color. That's kind of just making sure I understand the gist of it.
No, you got it.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend. So your different calendars, you would create them separately, and then you would just enable the view to be looking at each of those separate calendars at once, and they'd be color coded.
And the users, based on their preference, if they don't care about marketing, what's going on, they can just uncheck that. Or
so if I'm sales, I wouldn't even see marketing calendar unless you gave me permission.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? No? All right. Well, to wrap us up, I will ask my favorite final question, which is if someone is in the audience right now and they've never installed an app and they've never been to the AppExchange, what's the advice on how to get started? Yeah, we love you.
Story?
Yes, please.
All right. You have to promise not to mock me after this.
I can't promise that.
So my best advice is to make a date with the AppExchange. I actually have a monthly date with the AppExchange. I have a half hour on my calendar that I mark to go in and look at new apps that are out there. If I have a specific issue that I'm trying to solve, I will filter down to that issue. Or if I don't, if I just want to be a hero and find a new issue that people didn't know they already had, I will set my filter to free first, because I like free apps, and then just look at what's new in the last month or so. So looking through, taking time to go through, marking it on your calendar and look and see what's out there. And then I know that these gals yesterday were talking about reading the reviews. If you find an app that you think is really amazing and is going to solve your problem, read those reviews, because there's people out there like Amber, like Michelle, like myself, writing reviews on what we like and what we don't like about apps. And the nice thing about the AppExchange is that they don't discriminate. They put both of those kinds of reviews out there. So you can see right away if your use case seems to be an appropriate fit for that. Piece.
Yeah. So you guys know about developer orgs. You can guys go and get a developer org and install these. The free ones you can just put in there and play with them all you want. Most of the paid ones have a free trial where you can install these in place and check and see if they're going to meet your use case. You don't have to guess. The reviews can often get you pretty far, but not necessarily your specific use case for the thing you're trying to fix. So install them in your developer org, install them in your sandbox, and see if they're going to work for you. Try before you buy.
Anything actually has a free trial for 15 days.
Awesome. Thank you so much.